Have you ever heard of a company that threw a 3-day summer camp for its employees featuring performances by Lorde and the Chainsmokers? A company whose founder wanted to become the world's first trillionaire, president of the world, and live forever. This isn't a sci-fi movie. This is the absolutely wild, true story of WeWork and its charismatic, messianic founder, Adam Neumann. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into how a simple office rental company was valued at an insane $47 billion, and how it all came crashing down in a spectacular flameout of private jets, tequila shots, and shattered dreams. This is the story of how WeWork went from the next big thing to a Wall Street laughingstock. It all starts with Adam Neumann, a tall, long-haired Israeli entrepreneur with a gift for selling a vision. He wasn't just renting desks. He was selling a community, a lifestyle, a physical social network. He talked about changing the world, elevating the world's consciousness, and people bought it. Big time. He and his co-founder Miguel McElvey started WeWork in 2010 in a single building in New York City. The idea was simple: lease office space, chop it up into smaller units, make it look incredibly cool with modern furniture, kombucha on tap, and ping-pong tables, and then rent it out to freelancers, startups, and small businesses. It was a glorified real estate play, but Adam's salesmanship was on another level. He convinced everyone, especially investors, that WeWork was a tech company, a revolutionary force, not just a landlord. And the biggest believer of all was Masayoshi Son, the head of the Japanese conglomerate SoftBank. Masa, as he's known, is a legendary investor who made a fortune on Alibaba. When he met Adam, he was instantly captivated. After a tour that was supposedly only 12 minutes long, Masa famously told Adam he wasn't thinking big enough. He drew up a deal on an iPad right there and decided to invest billions, not millions, billions. With AB, SoftBank's money cannon turned WeWork from a fast-growing startup into a global behemoth on steroids. This is when the story really gets crazy. SoftBank eventually poured over $18 billion into the company. With that kind of cash, WeWork went on a global expansion spree unlike anything the world had ever seen. They opened hundreds of locations in cities from London to Shanghai. They were opening new buildings at a breathtaking pace, sometimes multiple in a single city on the same day. The company's valuation skyrocketed. In 2017, it was valued at $20 billion. By early 2019, it hit that peak valuation of $47 billion. For perspective, that made WeWork, on paper, more valuable than established giants like Ford or Delta Airlines. The hype was deafening. Adam Neumann was on the cover of magazines, hailed as a visionary genius. He was building a brand, the We Company, which included WeLive, a co-living apartment concept, and even Wegro, an elementary school run by his wife, Rebecca. The mission was no longer just about office space. It was about encompassing every aspect of its members' lives, from cradle to grave. But behind the stunning offices and free beer, a very different story was unfolding. The company was burning through cash at an astonishing rate. For every dollar it was making, it was spending too. They were losing billions of dollars a year, and where was all this money going? Well, a lot of it was funding an incredibly lavish and frankly, bizarre corporate culture. Adam Neumann lived like a rock star. He bought a $60 million Gulfstream G650 private jet for the company, which he used to fly around the world, often with friends for parties. Stories from inside the company paint a picture of a cult-like atmosphere. Mandatory all-hands meetings felt more like music festivals, with loud music, dancing, and endless tequila shots. Adam would often walk around the office barefoot. He once reportedly fired 7% of the staff to cut costs and then immediately brought out trays of tequila and had DMC from Run DMC perform to lift everyone's spirits. The lines between work, life, and a never-ending party were completely blurred. This wasn't just a founder's quirk, it was deeply embedded in the company's DNA. Meanwhile, Adam was personally profiting in ways that raised serious red flags. He would buy properties and then lease them back to his own company, WeWork, making millions for himself. He even trademarked the word "we" and then tried to sell the rights back to his own company for nearly $6 million before public outcry forced him to return the money. He was cashing out hundreds of millions of dollars in stock while telling everyone else to hold on for the long term. This was a founder who seemed to be treating the company's massive pile of investor cash like his own personal piggy bank. The internal motto was "make a life," not just a living. But for Adam, it seemed to be make a fortune, and fast. The house of cards began to wobble in 2019 when WeWork decided to go public and file for an IPO. This meant they had to open their books to the world. For the first time, the public and Wall Street analysts could see the cold, hard numbers behind the mystical vision, and they were horrifying. The IPO filing, known as an S-1 document, was a bombshell. It revealed the company's staggering losses, nearly $2 billion in 2018 alone. It also detailed the complex corporate structure designed to give Adam Neumann near total control, even if his ownership stake decreased. It laid bare all the questionable financial dealings, like him leasing his own buildings back to the company. The document was so strange, it even had a dedication to the energy of "we greater than any one of us," but inside each of us, Wall Street wasn't impressed by the poetic language. They saw a deeply unprofitable real estate company masquerading as a tech unicorn, led by a founder with a worrying lack of corporate governance. The backlash was swift and brutal. The media, which had once celebrated Adam, turned on him. Investors balked. The planned IPO valuation was slashed from $47 billion, first to $20 billion, then to $15 billion, and it was still a no-go. The entire IPO was canceled. The party was officially over. With the IPO money gone, WeWork was just weeks away from running out of cash completely. The company was on the verge of collapse. SoftBank, their biggest investor, had to step in with a massive bailout package just to keep the lights on. But there was a condition: Adam Neumann had to go. In a dramatic turn of events, the man who built this empire was pushed out of his own company. He walked away with a golden parachute worth over $1 billion, but his reign was over. The aftermath was brutal. WeWork's valuation plummeted to below $8 billion, a fraction of its peak. The company laid off thousands of employees, the very people who had bought into the "we" philosophy. The extravagant spending stopped, the private jet was sold, and the summer camps were canceled. The new leadership had to focus on the boring, unsexy task of trying to make the core business of renting office space actually profitable. It was a harsh reality check. The story of WeWork serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It shows the danger of hype and storytelling when it's not backed by solid business fundamentals. It's a lesson in what can happen when a charismatic founder is given too much money and not enough oversight. It highlights the difference between a visionary and a reckless gambler. Adam Neumann sold a dream of a utopian community powered by technology, but what he built was a debt-fueled real estate empire with a party problem. Today, WeWork still exists, but it's a shadow of its former self. It did eventually go public through a different, less glamorous method, at a much lower valuation. The journey from a $47 billion unicorn to a cautionary tale was incredibly fast and dramatic. It's a story that has everything: ambition, genius, greed, and a whole lot of tequila. It reminds us all that no matter how cool the office looks or how inspiring the mission sounds, in the end, the numbers have to add up. The smoke and mirrors can only last for so long before everyone sees what's really there. Thanks for watching this deep dive into the WeWork saga. What do you think? Was Adam Neumann a brilliant visionary who just flew too close to the sun, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating business breakdowns. See you next time.